Famed, of course, for my unique red skin and unparalleled skills as a general of the House of War, I, the Red Prince, was raised within the vast palaces of the fabled Forbidden City. I was destined to become the next emperor. But my ambitions suffered a bit of a setback when I fell from grace for cavorting with demons. Now, I'm exiled and hunted by assassins. But I assure you, I remain undaunted and as determined as ever to claim my rightful throne.
It all happened like I knew it would. A single drop of source magic. And, like flies to honey, the monsters swarmed. The rebel panicked. The carnage began. And the Magisters pointed their fingers at me. Just as I'd planned. I was shackled and collared and sent to Fort Joy. I'd come here to kill Godwoken. But instead I became part of their story.
What a way to wake. Wooden boards and iron shackles. The Divine Order's hospitality leaves much to be desired indeed. The indignity. I'm supposed to send people down to the dungeons, not the other way round. indignity. I'm supposed to send people down to the dungeons, not the indignity. I'm supposed to send people down to the dungeons, not the other way round.
Yes, this is a rare kind of magic. I'll need to write to headquarters right away. No lesions, no trauma. He was bled by magic. Yes, this is a rare kind of magic. I'll need to write to headquarters right away.
Ah, you're up. There. Not too tight, I hope. The collar, I mean. Oh, not to worry. Every dog has to get used to its leash. In the meantime, your next stop will be Magister William. All passengers have to be registered in the ship's manifest, and he's the chap in charge of the logs. Why, for my peace of mind, of course. Why don't you try casting one of those source spells of yours? See what happens.
Currents of magic surge inside you, boiling, bursting, then breaking, only to fade back into your soul like rain into the earth.
My, look at the concentration on your face. There you have it, see? The collar's function. It neuters you, of sorts. Make for your own peace of mind, of course. Yours and the whole world's. Why? Because we're at sea, of course, and have been for several days.
Index fingers pressed to her lips, she pauses a moment to give you a scrutinizing gander.
My word, you do seem a bit befuddled, don't you? Perhaps I was a bit too generous with that sedative. Oh well, I'm sure you'll soon gather your wits. Most likely. Eventually. In the meantime, all you need to know is that we're en route to Fort Joy. A new life awaits. And if you're a particularly good boy, perhaps a cure as well. An end to Source. For good.
Did the murderer take him into this room?
You've been collared and you've been told why.
Good gods! There's been a murder here!
A young Magister stands pale and silent. Her knuckles whiten around her weapon as you pass. Behind the Magister, a bloodied mass lies in a heap. Gore and limbs lie at odd angles. You can't make out a face amid the mess.
There's been a murder. A sorcerer was killed by one of your own. Lucky you were busy getting your collar fitted at the time, or you'd be a suspect like the rest of them. Waters is investigating. She'll figure out who did it. Always does.
Did the murderer take him into this room?
You surprised? You're one of them. You know what sorcerers are capable of? Whoever did this found a way around their collar and killed a man. Small ones this time. Thank the gods. We'll find out who did it, one way or another.
No lesions, no trauma. He was bled by magic.
Ugly sight, isn't it? Burns me up this happened under our protection. We're extremely lucky no Voidwalker followed the source that did this. Finn didn't see it like that. He was desperate for us to help him. Two things scared the living daylights out of him. His own shadow and his own source. We'll find out who did this. Speaking of...
She looks up at you with a mirthless smile.
I was on duty in your room when the murder happened. You were asleep the whole time. Didn't even stir. You're one of the only indisputably innocent people on the ship. Unless you can commit murder in your sleep, of course. Figured as much. Listen, I could use someone to keep their ears open among the passengers. Sometimes they clam up in front of a uniform. Bring me a good lead, and I'll throw in a shiny gold coin for you. How about that? Not in here, it isn't. You let me know if you hear anything. Whoever did this is dangerous. No marks, no indications of a struggle.
It seems as though there's a pattern.
This again?
That can't be natural.
A subpar cranium, that? Human, no wonder.
Ah, you're up there. Not too tight, I hope. The collar. In the meantime, your next stop will... You'll find him on the other side of this deck, in the officers' quarters. Why? Because we're at sea.
Index fingers pressed.
My word. Oh well, a new life await. Why, for my peace of mind, of course. Why don't you try casting one of those swords? Oh, do go on. I won't hold it against. My, aren't we a meek little lamb? So let's just leave it on, shall we? For your own... Did I leave my calipers?
Good God! There's been a murder here!
Behind the Magister, A bloodied mass
Easy now. Waters is investigating. She'll figure out who did it. If you have nothing to hide, I'm sure it'll go just fine.
Ugly sight. Burns me up this happened under our protection. We're extremely lucky no void...
She looks up at you with...
I was on duty. You're one of the only indisputably innocent people on the ship. Oh, Finn was killed by Source. It looks more like a passenger managed to... Listen, bring me a good lead, and I'll throw in a... Think about it. It's one of you. Who's your real... You let me know if you...
An elf sits tucked away in a dark spot, lazily rolling dice onto the surface of a barrel. They sound like the...
Snake eyes.
She chuckles.
I bet that's just what they'll look like.
She shakes her head.
Game for one, I'm afraid. Rolling dice, deciding fates.
She eyes you quite seriously.
Not the future, no, but I can read the past in flesh. One of the perks of being an elf, you see. I'm quite good at it, too. I could lick your arm and tell you how you spent the night before last. Shall I?
She gives your arm a vigorous stroke of the tongue, efficient like a cat grooming.
You were in a cellar with other sorcerers. As everyone lay sleeping, your hunger gnawed and gnawed at you until you could stand it no longer. Finding the cellar door ajar, instead of trying to escape, you snuck into the pantry like a common thief, only to find nothing but rather questionable turnips. There you stood as a Magister walked in, still hungry, feeling a mighty fool.
I'll give you that knuckle if you keep carrying on.
Of course it is. The truth's right there, skin deep. But don't you worry, darling. Your secret's safe with me. I don't lick and tell. Don't worry, honey. It isn't yours.
She looks you up and down with the merest hint of a coy smile on her lips.
Never say never, though.
Surely.
What are you trying to hear anyway?
I'll tell you if you can keep it quiet long enough.
I'm busy watching for clues, sorcerer.
Never thought you'd end up a prison guard, Vic.
A scruffy man lounges against the wall with scarred arms folded. A sly smile playing on his face, he stares across at the Magister.
Watch your back, new fish. There's a murderer on board, and I'd bet 3 months' pay it's this tramp Ifan.
Rolling his eyes at the Magister's warning, the man named Ifan beckons again.
Suit yourself. Was just going to adjust your collar for you. It pinches, right?
Hocking a phlegmy gobbet in your general direction, the sullen Magister settles back to his task of glowering at Ifan. And now, you.
We used to know each other, more's the pity. I was his commander many, many, many moons ago. Isn't that right, Vic?
Standing far back from Ifan, the tight-faced Magister draws one finger across his throat in an elaborate fashion, but says nothing. Ifan grins, flashing pointed white teeth.
Same as he was at 14 years old. Only difference is somebody gave him a bigger sword and now he's Johnny Big Pants. Long story. Maybe I'll tell you about it in the Joy. Away from interested parties. No. The dead man, Finn, is it? I'd no business with him. And I wouldn't put a man down without good reason.
He glances over at Magister Victor, who's staring back at him with pointed intensity.
Damn shame sheer annoyance isn't reason enough. The Joy? I've heard a lot. Nothing good. No surprise there, since Bishop Alexander runs the show. Wonder if we'll get to meet the ringmaster himself. Easy now. I might think the same, but Vic here will blow a blood vessel if he hears you talking like that.
What are you conspiring about over there? You, Lizard, what's your name?
Oh, don't mind him. Vic's just got a bee in his bonnet. And that bee is me.
Name?
Magister Victor looks at you suspiciously, then scrawls something illegible down in a tiny notebook. He scowls at you as he...
Away with you, at once.
Ifan performs an elaborate pantomime of keeping quiet. Ifan raises his eyebrows, but shakes his head at your attempts to communicate. Glance...
What? Didn't make it clear. What?
Can we just skip to the part where I reassure you and you shut up?
You think me mad?
My prince.
The cook bows slightly and wipes her hands on her gruel-stained garb.
Forgive me, your highness. I didn't expect... well, anyway, whether I had more than cornmeal and rotting roots to serve, I'd...
She averts her eyes and nods quickly before returning to...
Boring.
Never thought you'd end up a prison guard, Vic.
That right?
A broad dwarf sits totally upright on the bench, eyes closed, palms face up on... He raises an eyebrow as you approach, but doesn't open his eyes.
Listen up, boy. You hear that?
I've got this wolf on a leash now.
He opens both eyes and turns his head toward you, looking you up and down. He smiles and closes his eyes once more.
You look like a boy to me. Listen if you're interested, or get gone if you aren't. The ship, of course.
A wave of sound washes over you. The unintelligible chatter of your shipmates, the groaning of wood from floor to ceiling, the boom, crash and crackle of waves around you, complaints from the sea itself.
And? Then you're not listening hard enough, mate. Go on. You've got ears on your head, haven't you? Do you need me to show you how to use them? There now, just like that. Aha!
His eyes snap open as his countenance breaks into an expression of joy. One great paw claps you on the back. The other catches you before you lose.
There. You heard it, didn't you? I knew it. I knew it. Aye, this is good news, boy. Good news. It's the wheel. The wheel. Don't you see, you beautiful idiot? Squeaks whenever the helmsman jerks it clockwise, which means we're heading east. Pardon my beard. That means if we've been traveling for, yes, only 10.34 nautical miles to Fort Joy. Captain, actually. And that figure tells me we're getting close to the Joy. Close to what lies beyond it, too.
The dwarf leans back from the table and strokes his beard, gold medallions jingling merrily. His eyes roll over to you.
That'll be all. Thank you kindly, boy.
He continues stroking his beard, a beatific...
If you'll be pardoning me, I'll be...
The Magisters are out for blood. You saw the body, didn't you? Big bruiser like you ought to be able to take them on.
A no doesn't become a yes over time, you know.
Junk. It was one of them. I know it.
Would you put a knuckle in it? I'm trying to concentrate.
They don't care about us. We're like cattle to them.
I'll give you that knuckle if you keep carrying on.
One of us wouldn't kill our own. They're picking us off one by one.
Can we just skip to the part where I reassure you and you shut up?
You think me mad?
Mad? No. And insufferable, surely.
What are you trying to hear anyway?
I'll tell you if you
Name?
keep it quiet long enough for me to listen.
Well, you aren't here on my list. Scrammy. Like I said,
That right. I always knew you'd turn up.
The elf is reading a volume of Cranley Hubert's famous encyclopedia. He looks up, his big round eyes scanning your body, absorbing every detail. He reaches out, flicks a finger against one of your scales, and rubs his chin.
Fascinating.
He sits back and returns to his book, flicking quickly from page to page, completely oblivious to your presence.
7 years? What an infinitesimal period! Why would any— Oh dear. I seem to have crossed some cultural taboo. How difficult. You have my apologies, Lizard. Perhaps I should demand the same from those red-cloaked humans. They laid their hands on me more than once. Ah, yes. The niceties. My name is Fane. I am a scholar from— well, I am a seeker of knowledge. That is enough. It is pleasurable to meet you. Hardly. I've been reading this one for several minutes, and I have yet to find a single insight into the mysteries of the universe. It is simultaneously too detailed and insufficient. I know the beginning of this tale and the end, but I am rather missing the middle. Tell me, what do you know of our world's history? Most unusual, and if it's not too rude to suggest, not much of an answer. No, I want to know about the Celestial. I want to know about your gods. This text tells me that they created all creatures, but nothing of what came before. Where did these gods come from? Who are their people? Where are the others of their kind? Of course you don't have any useful information. Why did I expect anything else? Now please, run along. I have a world to decipher.
No amount of pestering will get the elf to take his eyes off his book or respond to your questions.
Here to register, sir. Good, good. Magister Williams is just about done with the last passenger. You faring okay so far? Trust me, with Bishop Alexander in charge, things will get a lot better from here on out. He's God-woken, you know. You head on in now. Williams will get you sorted fast.
I'll tell you if you can keep it quiet long enough for me to listen.
Wow! You're really red. Do you know Losa? She's a really good singer.
Ah, there you are. Husband. Would you please tell this very charming gaggle of not-at-all brat-like babes that I am by no accounts this Losa woman, nor do I sing, in fact. I'm deathly allergical. How very correct you are, spouse of mine. Madame Josephine Gribbles de Peeb refuses to be confused with anyone else. What? What's so funny?
Her pinched face cracks into a great grin, and she shoos the children away from her with a laugh.
Yeah, okay, you found me out. Go on and git, and maybe I'll sing you something when I'm good and ready.
She turns to you, dark-eyed and dirty-haired, and smiles flatly.
Gotta keep ourselves entertained, haven't we?
What are you trying to hear anyway?
You presume right. Nope, trying not to find anything out either. Ignorance is bliss. The utterer, the better. Thanks, but I already belong to an elite and exclusive ship gang. We play ball every day after lunch. You're too soft for it. You take care, though.
Suddenly, her eyes cloud to an unnatural black. Greyish veins run down her face, and her mouth tightens into a cruel sneer. As quickly as they came, the clouds clear. She smiles as though no change came over her.
Good luck, Chief.
if she tried murder most foul. And I strongly suspect
You seem on
know all
edge,
about
officer.
it.
What on earth is the matter? Do you? Well, perhaps you're
Murder most
absolutely
foul.
right.
And I strongly suspect you know all about it.
Do you? Well, perhaps you're absolutely right.
Junk. We've got this wolf on a leash now.
Standing at the center of the room, you spot a sorcerer haughtily eyeing a pair of nervous-looking magisters. They keep their crossbow trained upon her as she's being interrogated by an officer.
So you admit it then? You murdered that poor fella?
Yes, I did. But of course, that was only the beginning.
She turns her head and looks you straight in the eye.
There are others whose lives must end.
Good God, the woman's mad. You there, sorcerer, go and fetch Magister Siwan. We need to do more than collar this maniac. We need to shackle her, hands and feet.
It means your journey draws to a close. Do stick around for its finale, though, because...
She reaches for her collar and simply removes it.
I'm just about to create a scene.
Subdue her, men, quickly! If she casts source, the Voidwoken will come. They'll end us all.
She smiles with wicked satisfaction.
Precisely.
What's happened?
My divine grace, who was that howling?
He eyes the collar circling your neck and reaches a hand towards his blade.
Another sorcerer! Even if I knew how to rip that thing off, I wouldn't. Some Your lies end here.
Bishop Alexander, the smug little tyke that thinks he can imprison a prince. How comical.
And you thought Riverrun was flat. suddenly face to face with an undead. His skull is bizarrely angular, and a glorious jewel sits in the middle of his forehead. The skeleton is quickly leafing through a volume of Cranley Hubert's famous encyclopedia, muttering to himself.
No, no, no! What damn fools record knowledge on a pulped tree? It catches fire, it turns into must when wet, it cannot even resist acid! No wonder they're so bloody ignorant.
The skeleton looks up and notices you for the first time.
Oh, it's you. Shouldn't you be running and screaming or some such?
The skeleton groans and looks back to his book, frantically flipping from page to page.
Yes, indeed. It's the look of someone that wants to read the bloody book he's holding. Now, if you're really quite finished, I believe you have lifeboats to flee to. Please, I was no more an elf than you are those rags you're wearing. I had a mask, rather ingeniously designed, which allowed me to take that primitive form. A mask that was stolen by that damned witch after her little scene. Still, she'll drown with the rest of these fools, and I will simply pluck my mask from her cold, dead hands. Indeed, just as sensible as getting off a sinking ship and leaving a fellow to his business. I would say good day, but it seems quite likely that you're about to die a rather terrible death, so...
The skeleton shrugs casually and returns to his book. The marking on the door was painted recently, judging from its pungent scent. You press your palm against the door to open it. The wood feels neither cold nor warm, but simply grey. The crimson drains from your hand, and you are left numb. It doesn't budge. The door groans open, but an ashen shadow clouds your mind.
I need to get out of here, now!
But a fine grace, what was...
He eyes the collar circling your neck and reaches a hand towards his blade.
Another sorcerer!
The Magister's companion doesn't blink, frozen in place at the sight of you.
Even if I knew how to rip that thing off, I wouldn't. Some crazy banshee comes screaming through, and now we got void bugs swarming up top. Sorcerer mute!
He whispers loudly to the other.
Don't just cower there, Rix.
Rix grabs his sword, which shakes in the rhythm of his trembling hand. Rix looks to his companion, who then looks to you. They drop their hands to their sides.
Go on then. Find a place to hide and stay there.
Bishop Alexander, the smug little tyke that thinks he can imprison a prince. How comical.
God damn it! Need to get off this wreck and quick! Not long before this thing snaps into splinters. What's it blazing? Something's pounding on the hull.
The marking on the door was painted. You press it, doesn't budge. You pass through the door and are suddenly face to face. The skeleton is...
No. It catches fire.
The skeleton looks...
Oh, it's you. Shouldn't you be running and screaming or some such?
The skeleton groans and looks...
I know your god did not gift you with much. Do you look at me and think, why, yes, there is... No, damp robes are the most I have to... Whereas you, I believe, have lifeboats to pointlessly squabble over. I believe you did. I had a mask, rather ingenious. A mask that was stuck still. She'll drown with the rest of these fools. And I will simply pluck my mask from her cold... Indeed. Just as sensible as getting off a sinking ship and I would say good day.
The skeleton shrugs. The moment you touch the door... The moment you touch the door, your belly goes hollow and...
children and dwarfs first, just like the old stories say.
The dwarf yanks at one of the nearby ropes to no avail.
You said there were other people down there. We need to help them.
You see those tentacles, kid? It's time for getting the hell out of here.
But wait! There's still people down there. Thank you! There's a ladder right over there.
You're gonna be the death of us, you hear? Had to open your big mouth, didn't you?
The Magister lies on the floor, unconscious.
If you could walk, get yourself up the ladder. There's a boat. Wait! Void Woken!
I thought Voidwoken was supposed to be scary.
I've faced worse.
Let the games begin.
These beardless bugs won't sink a ship on my watch.
Away! The sea's hungry. We don't have much time.
Let's head above decks.
I hear something. It's Magister Siwan, the one who put on this damn collar. Sounds like she needs help.
She tries to speak, but can only gape as she clutches her neck. With jagged movements, she raises her clenched fist and holds out a length of cloth, soaked with some kind of strong-smelling tincture. Blood quickly soaks through the cloth. Magister Siwan's mouth opens and closes, her eyes wide in terror. It's working. The pressure is stemming the flow of blood. Siwan clutches your arm, her eyes locked with yours. Something within the ship snaps. The floorboards shudder. Siwan struggles to her feet, clinging to you tightly.
Honorable Dallas, we lost a ship sailing sorcerer prisoners to Fort Joy. We assume some escaped and broke their collars. Their vile magic lured the Voidwoken. All who were aboard are presumed dead. Yours faithfully into eternity, High Judge Orivan.
Well, that was a bit of a rough and tumble journey. I suppose I'm the lone survivor. Which is entirely appropriate, if you ask me. Rex, king, sorcerer, and scholar, though not quite a gentleman.
The child has a small mirror in his hands. He holds it up at angles, inspecting his eyes, his chin, the crown of his head. He spots you, and his arms snap to his sides.
I'm not supposed to talk to lizards. What's a superior?
He shrugs and continues the game with a mirror, inspecting inside his nostrils and around the back of his knees.
Voidwoken. Those are the same beasts that sank our ship. Damn! They made it to the shore. thought these bloody collars were supposed to keep those things at bay. This pig's bladder was on the ship. A black cat. A herald of wisdom in my homeland.
The cat's eyes are clouded and grey, but it stares at you with acute intensity. Its eyes clear, and it shakes its head, confused.
Now where shall I put this one? Hey, mister. It's a lot nicer here than that stinking boat, huh? I'm sure glad you went back to save the others. Saw one of them wringing out their tunic at the shore a few hours ago. Say hi for me. I never want to set foot on a stuffy old boat ever again. Never.
The cat's eyes are clouded and it appears confused. The cat's eyes are clouded. It appears confused, and yet...
Now speak. Stay back, sorcerer, and stay silent. Our Godwoken speaks.
We know you've been helping sorcerers escape, Atusa. We have proof.
I'd sooner cut my tongue out than lie to you, Alexander. I know nothing of any escapees.
If you can tell the Godwoken no more, your tongue is of no use. Cut it out.
This can't be serious, Alexander. Come!
You should know by now to obey your superior, Magister, whatever she may ask.
Stay silent, lizard!
Atusa pinches the tip of her tongue with 2 fingers and brings her dagger to its root. Her eyes squeeze shut. Drops of blood form against the dagger's edge and quickly fall to the ground. She groans.
Stop! My father, may his soul rest in peace, would be disappointed in you, Atusa. To think you would lie to his only son, your bishop, and your friend these many years. The fate of our realm hangs in the balance. If you will not help us save it, then you will help the Void destroy it. Dallas?
Yes, Your Holiness?
I believe we're done here.
What a waste. Come, we'll be needed elsewhere. He hasn't changed a bit. Always late.
always want...
Come on then, Lexi. Hey up.
You, help me teach this beast. He must respect. If not, he comes for you next.
Respect? Huh. Someone's got to keep this place running. Griff can't do it for free. Why'd you gotta make this so hard?
An intense-looking man steps between the thug and the elf and rolls up his sleeves, revealing well-muscled and heavily scarred arms. You recognize him. It's Ifan, who you met aboard the ship on the way here.
Just stand aside, won't you, mate? This is no business of yours.
Lone wolves decide their own business.
The thug freezes in fear for a moment before shuffling back to the protection of his crony.
Pay up, elf. No one shorts Griff. Especially not one of you.
Burrow looks you both up and down, sizing up your combined threat.
Ah, get out of here. The both of you. You ain't worth the sweat of my brow anyhow.
The elf smiles and bows to you in thanks.
Follow me, before more of them trouble us. There is a safe place.
I saw what you did there, convincing Burrow not to lay down the law on that elf. Anything for a fellow sorcerer, isn't that right? I'm sure you...
Ifan rolls his sleeves back down.
Good work there. Good work.
He stretches out one rough hand to shake your... He grips your hand tight as a vice and shakes it, hard.
Say, you don't look all that busy now that we're safely on dry land. I could use someone to watch my back, and it looks like you could use someone to watch yours. I've just got a small errand to run, and then I'll be looking to get the hell out of here while I've still got a neck to collar. How about we stick together until we get out of this place?
He shrugs, looking off to the side.
Mercenaries. It's a job. My job. Everyone needs to make a living. I make mine running errands.
The little black cat trailing you hisses at him, hair raising a ridge along its back. Without batting an eyelid, the man rumbles a lupine growl. The cat hides behind your leg, mewling. He shoots you a flinty look, all teeth and peril.
Lone wolves only share such information with friends. Are we going to be friends?
He grins, sharp teeth glittering in the midday sun.
So, before we hit the road, it's best if we decide battle strategies up front. Should keep more of our blood in. Survival's my main priority. I'll use every trick in the book to keep us alive. But if a wayfarer's not what you're after, I've got other skills. What do you need? Too much, you might say. I can make them bleed any which way you want. Which is? Can do. Onwards.
He scans the horizon for threats with one green eye, then nods back at you.
Right you are. Lead the way.
Stay down, you!
Is that indigestion, or is it... Oh god, not now. Hello? You gonna pray all day, buddy?
I know you.
Losa, the dark-eyed jokester you met aboard the ship, waves enthusiastically and dips into a mock elegant curtsy.
Back then, I was Madame Josephine Gribbles de Pube. And you were the prince, right? Glad to see you made it. Nothing like a nice tentacle slap across the moor to set the tone for the week, eh? How'd you escape? Me too. Did you hear something? When you were in the water, I mean. I heard the same thing. Do you know what this means? It means I'm not the only.
Losa's voice catches in her throat. The joy drains from her face. Her eyes lose focus, and her whole body goes rigid. She is stock-still, waxy-skinned, her eyes dark. Greyish-black veins run from her eyes down her cheeks. Her head snaps to you mechanically, and her eyes lock with yours, dark pupils dilated into great black voids. Light suddenly flashes back into her face. The grey veins drain to pinkish flesh, and her whole body relaxes.
Anyway, what were we talking about? Ah, it's nothing really. It's just... I'm just a bit... well, a bit... hospitable? Put it like this. You've never been a host, I bet. That's because you're an infested clump of leaves on the side of the road. That ain't bad, though. I'd give just about anything to be like you. But I'm a roadside inn. Red door, flowers out front, friendly lady at the door beckoning you in for half price. Like a goddamn gold star inn for the disembodied. Feels like just one, strangely enough. Big one, though. Don't know its name yet, either. It takes time for them to get comfortable and introduce themselves. So, how are you enjoying the joy? Yeah? I was just thinking the same sort of thing. So, you want to check this place out together? Strength in numbers and all that. It does, right? Before we head out, I've got more than a few tricks up my sleeve, so you'll have to pick which one I'll pull out if... when push comes to shove. Lately, I've been into the enchanting arts, but I can shoot, slash, summon, steal, whatever your little black heart desires. So, what'll it be? Sounds fine. So, yeah? Well, that was easier than I thought.
Your head, please! If we chant the endless prayer, the next divine will ascend, even if your kind has displeased the god so terribly of late. Haven't you heard? Bishop Alexander, the Divine's own son, is God-woken. He will ascend. He will protect us from this darkness. Do not doubt that he will come into his powers at any moment, and then he shall
Lucian. A fine fellow he was, I admit. Showed me conjuring tricks at dinner parties when I was but a boy.
You there. You've just arrived, isn't that right? Are you quite alone? It's just, I've a proposition. Something very worth knowing. But it's hardly a group affair. I only need one. Oh, noble. But after the Magisters take you all, your nobility will have been for nothing. Good luck with your friends, though.
When another divine arises... The kin's brow knits together, then apart and back again. He seems to be swimming deep in his thoughts and doesn't look up as you approach.
The ground. I don't know what you... I'm just trying to work it out. What happened? Why? Recognize you? Of course I recognize you. You're the Red Prince. That's about as obvious as a very obvious thing. Your point? My mind? What else, kin? I'm wondering why. All of this. Source, the Voidwoken, the Divine. Why? Where's that then? The egg? We'll go back to the egg. Naturally. How could one not? We've used Source for thousands of years. We have used it to heal, to grow. How can it be that it suddenly summons these horrors from the void? And when will Alexander ascend to divinity? We cannot continue like this.
Say, I don't know the ancient empire that is. Got nothing spicy enough to keep them.
I don't think I
The woman is scrabbling at her throat, as though she can hardly breathe. As she catches sight of you, recognition flashes in her terrified eyes. She drops her hands from her throat and starts hyperventilating.
Ben Mist! Ethan! Ben Mist! You killed them! You killed them! He killed them all! Murderer! Keep him away from me! Help! Somebody! Keep him away! Stay back. Stay back. Keep that monster Ben Mist away from me.
That's it. I call calls. Pay up.
The woman is scrabbling at her throat, as though she can hardly breathe.
Don't touch me. You're too close. This collar, this place, it's squeezing the life from me. Oh, it won't budge. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. doing? It's this... Stay back. Stay back. Keep that monster bed nest away from me.
A little respect for Griff's right hand. Looky, looky here, mates. A fresh face. We love fresh faces, don't we? Oh, yes, we do. Why don't you join us in a round of cards? First hands on the house. Chuff to you, Chief. Here are your cards. You're up first.
You glance at your hand. 2 purple monarchs. A hard hand to beat.
Quite the hand, Freshie. Unfortunately, 2 is less than 5, and that's how many purples I've got. I reckon that makes me the winner. I'll be having your fee then. Blaming a bloke you just met for your misfortune, are ya? Ease off, or I'll go ahead and double what you owe.
Stay back. Stay back. Keep that monster bed nest.
Don't think your connections will get here in time to save you if you don't pay up now. Go on then. Whatever pennies you've got in your pocket ain't worth my breath. But don't you go telling Griff I was soft on you. Another inmate, but you wouldn't guess it. Runs this place like he's Dallas herself. Shouldn't be too hard to find him in the kitchen, but he doesn't take too kindly to your kind.
Greetings, child. Frightful far from home, ain't you? Visited your ancient empire myself a long time ago. The Divine's light sure shines on your kind. Aye. I know that all too well. I feel his absence within my very blood. I pray for his safe return. I pray for it all the time.
That's it. I call court. Pay up.
Send us your children, your supplicants.
You there, lizard? I'm looking for an inmate. A smallish man, thick spectacles, prone to somewhat eccentric chatter. He wears a large bronze pendant with a dragon stamped into it. Have you seen him? Useless. It is a very important matter that I locate this Migo. Tell me if you hear mention of him. Where is he? Don't disturb me again, and let none of your business, inmate. Come on, old man. I can't wait all day.
Where are you, darling?
If you don't like the game, Topsy, you
Where
can roll.
is he?
A little respect for Griff's right hand, Topsy.
Right hand, my winker. Fellas got more right hands than Irma, where are you, darling?
That's it. I call court. Pay up.
Come on, old man. I can't wait all day.
Irma? I don't think I ain't what she is. That's your big blue
I told him at noon exactly. Didn't I?
That's it. I call Court. Pay up.
Come on, old man. I can't wait all day.
I won't say it again.
What do you want, freak? Out the fort? To where then? The death swamps or the ocean brimming with void-woken? Fat chance of getting more than 5 feet in any... Make it quick. Hell if I know. Don't rightly know if it can be done. If they take the sauce out of you, what are you? Sure. Pelham, I made it as far as the hollow marshes even. They dragged his corpse back the next day. Head pulled clean off by a ghost. I saw it myself. I never seen one myself, but me cousin up in Gore said one appeared from the clear sky one day and ate up every child under the age of 12. I don't know where they come from, but without the divine, there ain't much we can do to stop them. Hands out your pockets.
So this is Fort Joy.
Delivery. Surely you'll have one.
A crumbling disaster.
Scram, snake face. Perhaps if those bleeding dwarves didn't eat so much.
Am I awake? I think I need a pinch. Oh, no. Hang on. It's you. They said you'd be red, but I didn't think so very red. Oh, yes. Of course you have, Prince of Princes. Yes, indubitably. I need to parley with you further, sire. I do, and do indeed. Meet me, please, Prince, at my abode. Ocean view, rag ceiling, carpets of finest sand. Wondrous, yes. Come, talk to me there, your highness. They really want you to. Good. Close by as the gull flies. Hardly a saunter. Toodaloo.
He suddenly leans in, and his voice drops to a whisper.
We play the fool among fools, the sage among sages. You'll find me somewhat more coherent in privacy. That is a promise, Prince.
Griff is slowly, methodically peeling the skin from a potato. As you approach, he looks up, setting the potato, but not the sharp little knife, down on the table.
What? Who's asking?
He smirks and holds the little knife up to the light, watching it glint.
I'm listening. Can't help you there. If I could, I wouldn't be here peeling goddamn potatoes. Oh, they'll cure you of your sauce. Nightshade will cure you of an headache, too. Thugs. Look at it this way. People get lawless here, and we all starve. Sure, have a look. Good stuff, huh?
He points the tip of his blade at the grisly sight of the elf hunched over, clutching his knees in the cage.
I solve my own problems.
The cat's eyes are clouded and grey. It appears confused.
You looking for a match? You'll have a good head on most of the competition, that's for certain. A good tail, too. Poor lugs won't know what hit 'em. Nothing I can tell you can't find out by slipping down that hatch.
Leave me. Go. You leave me be. Just leave.
The Magister stares at the ground, unaware of your presence. With a start, she looks up and realizes someone is standing right beside her. Her eyes meet yours. She doesn't blink.
The Divine is dead. The Bishop is all we have left. Yes, our Lord Bishop is human, and so is his father, the Divine. The Divine.
Her voice trails to silence, and she resumes staring at the ground, lost deeply in thought.
I do wish Alexander would ascend sooner rather than later. They say his powers are not developing as they should. They blame the Voidwoken. But we need his powers to develop so that he may banish the Voidwoken. It's quite the pickle.
Bad luck to let one of them.
Kitty. I salute you, Puss.
Is that thing eating corpses?
Frightfully busy at the moment, love. Haven't got any liquor on hand, have you? This fella could use a little comfort. Why, look at that. Just what I ordered. Ain't you a peach, love? And old Dean here'd thank you too if he could. Poor fella over there crossed one of Griff's card sharks and got a club to the skull. Doomed to be sure, but I'd like to ease his way out. Lucky you came out of it at all. Plenty of folks around of here haven't, and it's me who ends up wrist deep in the gore.
The man sleeps so deeply, he might as well be... The old dog whimpers sadly, sniffing your hand.
Oh, Emmy.
She groans in pain.
A little reprieve from the din outside.
You, the Red Demon, the exiled pig. I'd heard they'd sent you here, but I'd hoped you'd have drowned yourself before crossing my path.
The soldier looks at you hard, his grip tensing around his spear.
No, I suppose the Red Prince is rather taller, isn't he? You're positively stunted. Sorry for the mix-up. House? Hallowed are its halls. Please, comrade, I have all you need to steel yourself against the brutes that haunt this place. I will accept no more than a pittance for all you may require.
I'd say we're making good progress already, no? I am too, I must say. Good to know someone's got your back when the going's tough. Well, I've got a contract to complete. After that, getting the hell out of Fort Misery seems the best option. I figure we track down my inside man, and then we take it from there.
Ifan shrugs off his backpack and reaches into its depths. After rummaging around, he holds out a tattered page to you, upon which you can see a broken wax seal in the shape of a wolf's paw.
Have a read of my contract and find out.
Wait! I call a timeout!
So, time to find this Boris fellow.
Hey. Hi, easy. I'd say we get out of this place. Dunno how long they plan to keep us here, but I'd rather not find out. Ooh, so serious. What's up? How very sweet of you to notice. I know, it's weird. One of the many side effects of the visitor upstairs.
She drums on her forehead with 2 fingers, smiles grimly, and shrugs.
They used to be blue. Oh well.
She bats her eyelashes at you in an exaggerated flutter, then bursts out laughing and punches your arm.
Ha ha! Character. I like that. I'm going to use that. If I can say nothing else for my current companion, at least I can say it gave me a bit of character. So what's it like, being alone in your head? People say that. Of course I do. What's your poison? I've got it.
Losa clears her throat and starts stomping a steady beat into the ground, kicking up dust that dances to the rhythm. Slowly, she claps an intricate pattern above the beat, hips swaying, head nodding. The beat builds into a riot of sound, her hands and feet moving in an inscrutable pattern. She takes a deep breath and starts humming above the rhythm, a sound like a train, like a flock of birds, like nothing else.
Savage hearts in it. I can't. Apparently not. All the more reason to find out what it is and get it out. Let's keep moving.
You've read my contract. What does that look in your eye mean?
He raises an eyebrow and folds his arms, appraising you.
Me, not you. It's my contract, but you can come along for the ride. Good to know. And likewise, with whatever errands of your own you have. As soon as I saw that glint in your eye, I knew we'd make it.
Ifan smiles and salutes.
No one tells me there are so many children in this Fort Joy. Magisters I handle, but small ones. An elf lives forever. If she stays away from spears and fire, she has no need for slimy, sticky, small ones.
Thank you for your help with that, thug. No doubt he turns on you next. These humans hate us.
She bows.
I hear of no escapes. The only way out is through. Through the Magisters, through their cure. Thugs I can stand, but I fear the Magisters. In this cave, we trust the healer. She is young, but she sees. She knows more than we know. In the camp, the brute Griff rules. He who gives the bread has the power. It gives me great pain. I'm with my family. We are making beautiful magic. We are healing a tree cut down with great violence. The Magisters come. My family runs, but I fall. My son looks back. I shout to him to run. I am taken. Wait, I am not here without your help. I do not forget this. For you, a prize. I save it for a special occasion, but... Thank you.
You can't get me! I'll stab you right in the eye! You're cheating!
I feel him, but I do not see him.
As you approach the young elf, Losa suddenly grabs your arm. Her hand is damp. Her face looks pale and grey.
Hey, listen, I don't know why, but I think I need to talk to this elf. You mind?
She jerks her hand away.
I can't. I just need to talk to her, okay?
She turns towards Sahala. She darts over to the elf without responding. They begin talking in earnest, more quietly than you can overhear. Losa suddenly snatches up both the elf's hands and leans close to her. Her voice rises.
You have to tell me.
The whites of Losa's eyes fade to grey, then black. The color runs into her veins, crisscrossing her skin like lightning. She keeps hold of Sahela's hands.
It rises in you even now, Losa. Do not let it. You must be strong. Be strong. Fight. Fight. You are okay. You are yours. No one else's.
Shut up. Let go. Let go. Let go. I don't want to hurt her. Don't make me.
Losa is rigid as a board, tense with the effort of holding Sahila's hands in tight, painful bunches.
Leave me alone! Leave me! I don't want to!
You are hurting me.
Losa's eyes are black. Sahila's fingers are white under her grasp.
Let me go! Please!
A sinister smile spreads across Losa's lips. She jerks the elf toward her.
Chatty, chatty elf. Chatty elf with all the answers. I wonder what your blood tastes like.
Losa, please! You must not defend her. She wakes if she is weakened. We must hurt her to protect her, you see?
I bet the elf blood tastes like honey, like nectar, like joy itself. Let's find out.
You must weaken her to help her. More hits. She comes back to us when she is weaker.
You okay?
Yeah, thanks. What? Don't look at me like that. Good. I don't. Let's keep moving. I want to get out of this bloody place as soon as possible. I'm fine. You're fine. We're fine. I just want to get out of here. Hey. Hi. Easy. I'd say we get out of this place. Ooh, so serious. What's up? Okay. I don't. Look, just... I know it was bad, okay? I know. You don't have to tell me. I'm sorry. I just want to move on.
The young girl's eyes are covered, but she turns towards you when you approach.
Hello, dear prince. Hello, betrayed soul. How sad to stand accused. To be innocent, but not believed. I see it before my eyes. It is not so bad. I know which days have bread and which days have none. I know more bread comes someday. It helps.
Her eyebrows shoot up.
There can be a way. Amiro knows. But he is gone. Do you see him? He knows how to leave. My protector, my friend. An elf like me, with a spirit bright as new leaves. He tries to help me, to save me, and he suffers very much. He is caught by those who hurt him. I wish so much for his return. And he tells you what you seek. A way out. You bring me great peace. Thank you, my friend. I miss him very much. I see something that helps. I see a lizard. He is a lizard of many dreams, of far feeling. You do not free Amiro without him. Yes, please ask. Oh, I do not cover my eyes. I cover the place they used to be. They are gone now, taken. But I see all the same. He is a very blind man. He sees things but not truth, not love or joy. I feel very sorry for him. You understand when you meet him after you escape. It is safer here. We make no trouble for Griff. He makes no trouble for us. My home is far. Your language gives me some trouble. We elves... Time, for us, is now. There is not then and when. I knew we must be here. I am not sure how much to explain. You are here, and so we are here. I know they help